Welcome to the second part in the series on completing the square. So we need to complete the square on this quadratic, the difference this time being that the coefficient of x squared here is not 1, it's 2, and it could be any number, and we need to be able to cope with that. You'll also notice that in the completed square form over here, there's an a outside of the brackets, and that's going to be relevant to our answer. So when you get a question like this, the first thing you need to do is factorize whatever this coefficient of x squared is out from every term. So I'm going to take 2 outside, and then inside I'd need x squared for 2x squared, I'd need 4x to make sure that I get 8x, and I'd need negative 3 to make sure that I get negative 6. What I can do now is ignore this 2, ignore these brackets, and just imagine that this was actually my question, and that's what I was completing the square on. X squared plus 4x subtract 3. You should be able to do this if you've watched the first video. So I'm still going to write my 2 in my brackets, but inside the brackets I'm going to do a separate question. So I would normally write here x plus 2 all squared, because that will give me x squared plus 4x then plus 4. I need to take away the 4 that I get at the end and still keep this negative 3. And then I can simplify that to give x plus 2 all squared. Negative 4 take 3 is negative 7. And now I've completed the square inside the bracket. All that remains to do now is undo that factorising that I did at the start of the question and multiply back through by 2. So there are 2 terms inside this bracket, this x plus 2 all squared and this negative 7. So if I do 2 times x plus 2 all squared, I simply get 2 lots of x plus 2 all squared, and then 2 times negative 7 gives you negative 14. A big mistake that I notice on questions like this that I see students do is this answer here. They don't get negative 14, they still keep it as negative 7 and think that the 2 only multiplies by this bracket. It doesn't. The 2 affects every term in here. So this now looks like this form here. We'd have a as 2, b would also be 2, and c would be negative 14. Let's have a look at a second one. So for this one I'm going to factorise 5 out. So I get x squared. 5 into 40 is 8, so I need 8x, and then I need negative 3 to get my negative 15 here. So I've taken the 5 out, let's put the 5 in the brackets, and let's do a question inside the brackets. So x squared plus 8x would be x plus 4 all squared, and that gives me my x squared and 8x, also gives me negative 16, so I'll take that off, and then I've still got negative 3. If we simplify that inside the brackets, we get x plus 4 all squared, and then negative 19. And then finally, if we multiply back through, we get 5 lots of x plus 4 all squared. And remember, this is the bit where people are likely to make a mistake. They may just write negative 19. That's not correct. It's 5 times 19, which is negative 95. Okay, here are 3 for you to have a go at on this completed square form. Press pause, write down your answers, and then press play, and I'll tell you what the answers were. Okay, here are the answers then. So for this first one, we're going to factorise 3 out. We get x squared plus 4x plus 5. Then we get 3 lots of x plus 2 all squared. We need to take 4, and we've still got plus 5. If we simplify that, we have 3 lots of x plus 2 all squared. Negative 4 plus 5 is positive 1. Then we multiply back through, we get 3 lots of x plus 2 all squared plus 3. For this next one, we factorise out the 7, so we have x squared, subtract 6x, subtract 5, which gives you 7 lots of x, subtract 3 all squared. I take away 9 because of the 3 squared, and I've still got negative 5. Let's simplify that one. Negative 9 subtract 5, negative 14, and then all that's left is to multiply through. 7 lots of x minus 3 all squared. It's not just 14 on the end, I need to do 7 times 14, which should give me negative 98. And the final question then, I need to do 5 lots of x squared minus 10x plus 7. So now within the bracket we do a question, we have x subtract 5 all squared. I need to take 25 because of the 5 squared, then plus 7. If we simplify that, we get x minus 5 all squared. Negative 25 add 7 would give us negative 18. And then multiply back through, we get 5 lots of x subtract 5 all squared. 5/18s are 90, so negative 90. That completes the second video in the series on completing the square.